All right, I thought we did a good job last week. We held Iowa to their lowest hitting efficiency of the year, and then Michigan was a great match. We won two really close, tight games. We had to just will them out. So I thought it was a good week. We got better, and another big road trip this week.
What was the biggest change you saw after game one against Michigan? Was it adjustments that you made, or just the way the team was playing?
I just think Michigan came out playing really well, and I think we were a little flat, and we had a really late night of travel, and it just took us a while. Michigan had to come down a little bit, and we had to raise our level a little bit. So it was just more of taking their first big swing, hanging in there, and then they came down to earth a little bit. Jeff, in statistics class, they call that regression to the mean.
Is Nicklin digging balls that you don't want her to?
Yeah. She's so good defensively, though. She goes to she knows where the ball's going to be hit, and she just goes. So she's taking balls that probably aren't hers, but I'd rather have somebody dig them, and so they don't go to the ground. But yeah, she reads really, really well. I just remind her that there's other people out there playing defense. So, but it's a fine line between being too aggressive and not aggressive enough. And like I said, on defense you can't. It's just like a scene from the movie Top Gun. You don't have time to think. You just have to react. So.
Who should be taking those?
You guys seen that movie? I asked my team. Nobody has seen Top Gun. So we're going to have a Top Gun movie night.
Who should be taking those balls?
Well, we always say two people on every ball. So in middle back is a lot of those balls that she's taking from them. And again, Michigan, it was a little bit more tougher to be as disciplined because they were setting a lot of back row attack, and back row attacks tend to go more in the middle of the court. So typically, defenders, if they read that, they'll come in, and Michigan ran a lot of back row. So hitting in the back rows, when you're up on the pins, you can hit more to the edges of the court. Back row attack more goes in the middle of the court, so your defense kind of sucks in. So that was part of what was going on there. But if you don't dig it, you don't have a chance to score. So we want them to attack the ball.
John, you've gone into the final 2 weeks of the regular season. How's your team holding up?
I asked them about taking the day off. They said they wanted to train. So either they're working me for something or they want to get better. So I don't know how else to just, it's probably a pretty good indication of where they're at.
Who spoke up and said that?
Oh, that's the captains. They're the only ones I talk to. I don't talk to those other guys.
You talked about learning to be resilient. With Lexi, some of these matches she's been starting slow and ending really strong. Is she showing you that she's a resilient player?
Yeah, she's definitely learning how to be a great player in big moments. And even though she may struggle at times, but Michaela struggles in early games and early matches as well. I mean, Michaela got ace 3 times, I think, against Michigan. But those guys are learning how to work through that, and we call it next point mentality. So something we've been working on.
Did you get a chance to watch any of the high school volleyball championships?
Oh.
What's your impression of where we're at as a state?
Well, I want to tweet this. I just hadn't had time today, and our girl's not in the office to help me. But so maybe Megan can help me because she's over here tweeting right now. But Thursday, we all went to as many matches as we could after practice, and then Lindsay was having it on the iPad or phone on the bus, and so we got to see glimpses of the matches from here and there. And of course, Lindsay was watching, the small towns because she was a small town player. But here's the bottom line: is there was 27 Division I players played in the state tournament from a state with only 1.8 million people. That's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling if you think about it. Let's put that in perspective. Football has 27 Division I guys teeing it up in the state football playoffs. Think about that.
And what do you think the reason for all that success is?
I think it goes back. I mean, it's in our DNA because I won't give you the full version, but basically, you know, I think Coach Pettit started it by building volleyball in the state and developing coaches. There's a lot of great coaches in high school, and that's where it starts. I think volleyball being on TV way back, all these kids have grown up watching volleyball and Nebraska volleyball, and then of course being in Final Fours in Omaha. I mean, having 3 Final Fours in Omaha and selling them out, and you know, there's legends in this state. So I just think that a lot of female athletes, there's good female athletes in this state. They get great coaching, they get great training, and I think that a lot of them are multi-sport athletes, so that helps their development. And there's a lot of really good volleyball played here, and I mean the level is really, really good.
John, more girls play high school volleyball than any other sport in high school. What would your advice be to parents who want to have their kids play volleyball?
Well, I always tell them they should be multi-sport athletes. Look at our All-American wall. 90% of them are multi-sport athletes. Pavin, Jordan, Hotelling. I mean, we just go down the list. Danny Busboom. I mean, it's the Rolfsons, Kelly Hunter. I mean, they all did everything. So to me, you should be a multi-sport athlete. Club volleyball ought to be reduced down, so allow these kids to, they don't feel the pressure they have to play club. And then be multi-sport athletes, do everything. And then I think that develops them into better all-around volleyball players. They may not be quite as far as headed at the start, but they certainly pass them up.
What is the
I'll just say one more thing about that. I've talked to all of our Jordan, Rolfsons, Kelly. The most nervous they've ever been is state track. They all say that. They feel like they're going to throw up at state track meet. You know, because I asked them, like, hey, are you nervous? We're going to the Final Four. We're, you know, in a national championship. Are you nervous? Coach, the most nervous I've ever been was state track. It's pretty interesting.
What is the evolution of the players that you're looking for now? I mean, you know, you see all these, you see these bump sets now. You see the servicing, you know, the services getting so much better. What's the next evolution that you see coming out of high school athletes?
Well, I think you know, I think they're getting closer because the net's lower to playing like the men's game. That's why I hire guys from the men's game. We watch the men's game because I mean, just look at Omaha Scott. I mean, they're huge. They could be a college team. And so the game is getting big and physical at the net and continues to do that. And but there's, you know, and with the sub rules, you can specialize a lot and create great back row players as well. So I think the evolution is going more like the men's game.
John, you can't comment specifically on different recruits, but your class is hopefully going to come together here in a midweek. Overall, how do you feel like the recruiting for the next freshman class? How did it go, and what's going to make them be successful?
Yeah, our 2019 class. I mean, there's 3 of those kids in there. Well, let me back up. So there's a great opportunity for some of those players in that class to come in and make an immediate impact and start. And so that's one thing. We provide some depth at other positions that we're thin at. And the other thing I love about there's 2 in-state kids. I hope I just didn't get in trouble saying that, but I'm not saying names, so I don't know. I go to lunch after this. We'll see if compliance grabs me because they probably were watching this.
Last year's recruiting class had Megan Miller, and she had a big match against Michigan. Can you define what has allowed her to have so much success so quickly?
Well, she was starting, and then we benched her. So I guess it goes back to butt on bench, sends a message to the brain, like I better start playing better, I better start doing what the coaches ask me, I better bring it every day in practice, and then that's how they get better. So that's the one way I can explain it, but she has been playing at a really high level for us. And you know, and I know you guys look at the digs, but her passing numbers are really good.
In what ways is Michaela taking the biggest steps forward this year versus last year?
Michaela Fecky?
Yes.
She's just a warrior, and I think she thinks she can take over the match when we need it. I'm seeing her, like, when we need an ace, she really hits a tough serve. When we need a big kill, she's been able to kill it, big block. She's big time.
What's the difficulty with so many, it seems like, of your sets are going left? You're out of system this year. Everyone knows that she's getting the ball and she's still able to have that success.
That's what the great ones do. It's no different than basketball players. You know, they get double teams and they still got to score. They know they're going to, you know, who's going to take the shot. It's no different than a running back having to, you know, get a first down when they need it. It's volleyball. You got to be able to find a way to make it happen when, you know, everybody knows where it's going. That's why we train that so hard.
Do you feel like Michigan lined up on her pretty well on Saturday? I didn't get to see really as soon as she was taken.
I think it started the match they did, and then she started figuring it out, and she hit some great shots. So, but that's what good players do. They make adjustments.